Welcome, SwamiLee's Sports Talk here at SwamiLee's Sports Collectibles, 2673 Hanfield Road in Pensacola, New Jersey. I'm Swami Lee.
I am Mellow Mike.
Oh boy, here we go again. Anyway, we're here to discuss the world of sports with you. Last episode, we discussed some of the NFL's upcoming games and the playoffs and such. Let's see what Mike has to bring to the table for us today. What you got?
Well, even though no meaningful baseball has been played in a long time, for baseball fans like us, these are not the winters of our discontent. They're the winters of our joy, our happiness, even when a buffoon like Matt Klentak is running our team. So, let's take a moment midway through the off-season and talk about what you think about, what grade would you give the Phillies today?
Well, I'm going to give them an incomplete because it's only December 28th, 29th. Well, whatever it is, something like that.
It's the 27th, but let's assume...
No, it's not. Is it really?
Quite.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, the point is we're in late December. You can't judge success or failure because if you remember from previous episodes, I did not want to see them going too crazy. The Carlos Santana signing, I've been hovering back and forth as to how much sense that makes. They may have all had ulterior motives to that signing. More like, hey guys, we're for real. So in 2018, Bryce or Manny, you want to sign with us because we're for real and we're just one or two players away. I'm hoping that's the point to this signing. I know he has a good on-base percentage, and that's a big deal for this team because nobody else does except for Cesar Hernandez. But I have concerns that, did they really need a new first baseman? I think they could have used some pitching. I don't know. Just my thoughts.
I think it's quite clear that first base was not a position of need. I also think that signing Carlos Santana, unless they put a whole lot more wins on the board, is going to convince exactly nobody that they're close.
Well,
and Carlos Santana is not going to make that much of a difference.
Here's the thing. I picked the Phillies for 75 wins last year. Obviously, I was wrong. Really, really wrong. That being said, if you follow them in August, September, that was a decent team. If you add Carlos Santana and he produces like Carlos Santana produces, you've got Hoskins in left field, and Hoskins produces like we hope Hoskins is going to produce. Let's not get too excited over August. Let's not get too concerned about September. Let's just hope he's realistically a 35 home run hitter and he walks the way he walked in August and even September. I'd be happy with that. But adding those two to the offense, the key player to whether this team is good or bad next year is offensively.
I know what you're thinking, and I refuse to say it, so I'll leave it to you.
Who are you thinking? Who are you thinking?
You were thinking Odubel Herrera.
Incorrect. Buzz, buzz, buzz. We already know exactly what Odubel Herrera is.
Yes,
and he's a pretty good player.
He's a decent player who lacks focus, who doesn't work hard enough, is inconsistent, and you don't want him to be one of the building blocks for a winning team because he's not a winner.
How do you really feel about him? No, seriously, Mike.
I also don't like his ugly little beard, okay?
Oh boy. Franco. Miguel Franco. He is the key to this team. If Franco hits 25 to 30 home runs, which he certainly is capable of, and can hit above 225, I believe adding Santana with Hoskins being what we expect Hoskins to be, I believe that could be a 75 to 80 win team. There alone, even without upgrading the pitching staff.
Well, if you figure that the middle of their order would be not necessarily in this order, Hoskins, Santana, and Franco, who's hitting where?
I would actually do Santana, Hoskins, and Franco. I want Santana.
That's 4, 5, and 6?
3, 4, and 5. I want Santana batting third. He's got the high on base percentage. I'm going as we stand here today. Now this could change based upon the players that they sign, trade, etc. Hernandez, assuming he's still with the team, is leading off. I'm contemplating Crawford batting second, but I'm also contemplating Crawford batting eighth. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle there. Now, who's the three outfielders? I'm not batting Nick Williams second, I'll tell you that right now. I could bat Odubel second, I guess. I know how much you'd love that at the top of the lineup, Odubel. Then again, I could bat Odubel first, and I could bat Hernandez second. So I'm kind of torn. But I want Santana 3, Hoskins 4, Franco 5, the other outfielder, whoever it might be, 6, Alfaro 7, and probably Crawford 8. I guess I'm going Crawford 8th, and I'm going with the Odubel Hernandez, 1 and 2. As of today, this could change if they make deals. Simple as that.
And what do you expect from Carl Crawford?
Carl Crawford.
BJ, Nick, whatever his name is.
Oh, God.
What's this kid's name?
And he makes fun of me for forgetting things. I mean, I really had no idea what you were getting at there. You meant J.P. Crawford.
Yeah, J.P.
I really had no... I'm thinking to myself, the Phillies signed Carl Crawford? What in God's name were they thinking? I'll be content with solid defense and a 260 season with moderate power and moderate speed. I expect more long term.
I didn't ask what would make you content. What do you expect from him production-wise, both at the plate and in the field this season?
Well, I expect his glove to be close to Freddie's, first of all. And then I expect him to hit at least 260. I don't know a lot about his power potential, but I'm hoping he could be good for at least 10 home runs. And he's got some speed, from what I understand. So if he can steal 20 bases, we'll be pretty happy from that perspective.
The forecast for the Swami is disappointment.
Sounds like high school all over again.
The Phillies have shown in recent years that when they have players who are capable of running, they don't take advantage of it. And there's no reason to think that's going to change with J.P. Crawford. As for fielding, will he be solid? I'll give him a probable. Will he be close to Freddie? No.
We shall see.
As for the batting average, I expect that hitting 8th, he won't see a whole lot to hit. He probably won't hit higher than 250 this year, but maybe he'll get himself on base. Maybe he'll draw some walks, and if he does, maybe, just maybe, we will see him take advantage of that speed. We can hope.
Well, let's break for commercial, and we'll be back at SwamiLee's Sports Talk in just a moment.
Hello, I'm Dickie Knowles, 1980 Philadelphia Phillies pitcher. That was the year we won the World Series, our very first in our history. And when I'm in South Jersey, I love stopping at SwamiLee's for the best card selection in the Delaware Valley area.
We're back. SwamiLee's Sports Cards and Collectibles features SwamiLee's Sports Talk. Guess what? I'm Swami Lee.
For now, I'm Mellow Mike, but he's doing a great job of getting me worked up today.
Well, we're going to change things up a little bit. Normally, this is where I have Mike give me topics, but Mike's not going to give me another topic today. No, because, well, you may remember, if you watch our previous episodes, we discussed my least favorite player who's been in the major leagues over the last 10 years, and that would be the captain, Derek Jeter, the worst GM to probably put on a uniform or not put on a uniform in the last 30 years. Well, folks, there's another player that I didn't like very much when he played. And I have a lot of reasons for it, including how overhyped that player was. So I want to talk about him for a moment.
Well, don't you think the fans know how you feel about Curt Schilling already?
That's for another show. That's actually a great thing to discuss, but that's our next show. So tune in for that one. But actually, no. You know what? Yes, you heard me do that. I just hit the table. I'm changing up right now. We're going to talk about Curt Schilling instead. So you don't know who I was going to talk about, because we're going to talk about Curt Schilling right now. Okay? Mike, what are your feelings about Curt Schilling as a future Hall of Famer? Because I got to tell you right now, I think he's going to make it this year. And in a minute, you'll find out how I feel about that.
Well, first, why don't you tell the fans why you think he's going to make it this year?
Well, they're all disclosing their ballots now. Over the last few years, because of the internet, you know who voted. Last time I looked, there were like 60 ballots that were in, give or take, and he was almost 75%. And I've seen multiple ballots since then, and they all have him on the ballot. I really fear that he could be on the ballot this year. He could win. He could be a Hall of Famer.
Well, one thing I hate is the idea of public ballots. It takes the suspense out. And let's face it, at this time of year, especially in a place like Philadelphia, where you have a GM who doesn't make any good moves, any interesting moves. Yes, Carlos Santana is neither good nor interesting. The Hall of Fame ballot is special, and you don't want to have it despoiled by having ballots here and there publicly announced, giving you some inkling about who might get to 75% and who won't. But we don't need to go there right now.
If you're wondering, Vladimir Guerrero will get in this year, in case you're wondering. But let me tell you something, okay? Let's talk about Curt Schilling really quick.
Let's.
First of all, yeah, I know he wore a bloody sock, although my money says there was ketchup on that sock, but that's another story. He was a big game pitcher. Yes, he was. 93 Phillies. That game 6, right? It was game 5. That game 5, oh my God, that was a great game. Until he puts a damn towel over his head. And that's why none of his teammates liked him. He had that huge year in Arizona. He had a few good years in Boston. He was never a dominant pitcher in the major leagues for an extended period of time. He only won 217 games, and he played in parts of 18 seasons. What's that average of 11 wins a season? He had, again, 3 or 4 dominant seasons spread out between 1988 and 2007, I think it was, or 2008, one or the other. How do you tell me this guy, I mean, obviously he's not a Hall of Fame person, okay? Ask the people of Rhode Island. They can think of 80 million reasons why he was not a Hall of Fame type of person.
Well, listen. We all know that not being a douche nozzle is not a criterion for Hall of Fame selection. So let's stay away from... And
Okay.
Don't tell me about the morals clause or the character clause or whatever.
Well, he
you wanna
doesn't
call
have
it.
any character, so we can't talk about a character clause. But let's look at it from another perspective. Let's talk about Curt Schilling on Twitter. Are you familiar with Curt Schilling on Twitter, aside from hearing me rant about it once or twice?
I don't have a
Let
Twitter
me-
account.
let
I've
me
never
tell
been
you.
on Twitter.
Let me tell you about Curt Schilling on Twitter, in case you guys, and if you don't believe me, you can test him out on this, okay? Curt Schilling will attack you on Twitter. He'll say nasty things about you when you say something that is not even a nasty thing to him, okay? Then he will block you after you respond to his nasty thing he said. Now, I'm not the only one this has happened to. This has happened to many people. And the only thing I said to cause all this was, in reference to Tim Tebow, people in the public eye have to expect public scrutiny. That's all that I said. And you can't look it up anymore because he blocked me. He responded by ripping me to pieces nasty. I responded to him, and he blocked me. He's done that to many people that I know. As soon as they disagree with him, he blocks them. He is a puny little maggot. Okay? He is not a Hall of Famer. He is not a Hall of Fame person. He's not a Hall of Fame player. He is the Hall of Very Good. He should have his own wing because he is the master of the Hall of Very Good.
Folks, I think we're going to need to extend tonight's show by at least 5 minutes until we find out how the Swami really feels about Curt, because I still have some doubt.
Well, let me tell you something, okay? I would love to be there to boo him at his induction. Okay, he is a scumbag. And this isn't even getting into his politics, which are horrible. He is a horrible person. He is terrible. Okay? It's one thing to have your own viewpoints, but when you get fired from ESPN because of your viewpoints, that's got to tell you something. He wasn't very good at his job anyway, so it's not really a loss.
I may have to have someone tweet a link to this show to Curt, but we'll see if that happens.
Well, I can't because I'm blocked because I had the nerve to respond to him being nasty to me. And then, he went on Miss Nellie's show and started ripping me personally on Miss Nellie's show.
I've heard the footage.
Yes, it is real. And Swami Lee was mentioned on the Miss Nellie show, where Curt lied to him and said to him that I was trying to advertise my business on his Twitter account. Well, guess what? When this happened, I didn't have a business. So, sorry, just had to go on that, but that's okay.
Well, can I take 30 seconds to answer your question?
Sure, go for it.
What do I think about Curt's induction to the possible induction to the Hall of
He's
Fame?
getting in, unfortunately.
I'm not going to take a position on whether he will or will not, but I will say that, he did enough in the postseason that just maybe those postseason heroics, bloody sock or no, should be enough to get him over the hump.
I do not believe 217 wins gets in the Hall of Fame unless you're Pedro Martinez, the most dominant pitcher of your era. That's different. If Randy Johnson had gotten injured with 217 wins, I'd probably make him a Hall of Famer. But
then,
parts of 18 seasons to get to 217 wins.
Then let me
Think about
digress
that.
for a moment, and since I don't know if we'll be doing this show in 5 years, maybe at some point soon we should talk about Roy Halladay and whether he gets in the Hall of Fame. That's a show for another time, a topic for another time.
Indeed.
As for Curt Schilling, quite frankly, folks, you don't attract viewers by having two people sit around and agree. Unfortunately, I can't really fake it. Curt had a couple of great seasons, but the problem is he had a couple of great seasons.
Correct.
He had some postseason heroics, but even 3 seasons of postseason heroics aren't going to be enough if you aren't great enough long enough. End of story. Curt, you don't belong in the Hall of Fame.
And Curt, you're a douche nozzle. What else can I tell you? Anyway, on that note, I'm Swami Lee.
I am Mike.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night.
Put me in, coach.